We are back again, another episode LGR with the College Coaches Corner. We got a pretty cool little interview with this one coming up. We got Coach Joulevette from North American University. He's in NAIA school in Texas, and it's a new program starting up this year. So wanted to get his insight into how to build a program, how you're recruiting from ground zero, and what are you selling to kids? What's the benefits along the way? Coach, how you doing during all this virus madness?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm struggling because I can't go outside, because of the circumstances. But just being indoors, man, I'm with those cookies and drinks and sugar and candy, man. So I'm struggling both inside and out. So I'm fighting that down.
I feel that, man, for sure, dude. I am like when I get bored, I eat. So I understand that wholeheartedly. We talked a little bit off the record, man. So you said you're from Louisiana, and just kind of talk about yourself in general, introduce yourself, your program. I'm pretty excited about this one just because this is, I think, our 12th or 13th interview, and you bring something that we haven't talked about throughout all of them.
Okay, well, my family is pretty much my family. My parents are based out of Lafayette, Louisiana. I was actually born here in Houston, Texas. I guess my career journey as far as sports and coaching and everything really started back in 1999 when I started coaching at Stephen F. Austin High School here in Houston, Texas. I did that for about 9 years. I started coaching freshmen, and then it took on from there to be the JV basketball coach. Before I decided to get away for a little bit, my daughter was growing up and I started coaching her with AAU. I did boys and girls AAU, and for about 6-7 years, okay, but still doing all that, I was working in education, which I'm currently, until I just got hired, still working in education. I work right now at Harris County Department of Education. So I'm just finishing out this month before, I just move forward to North American University. But that's pretty much kind of like the profile as far as like experiences, with the head coaching responsibilities and, still being able to teach and everything through those years and do some volunteer work, basketball, that's just AAU. So it's kind of like along the lines of the shore, I guess, just experience in basketball. Yeah.
So with North American University, where are you guys located, and what are the challenges, I guess, you see with y'all's first year being this coming year, and then you saying y'all going to rotate and move into the Red River Conference? What are some challenges you're kind of looking forward to taking head on?
Well, let me say this. We're independent right now. We're set to be NAIA by the end of December, January. That's already said and pretty much done as far as like what the school commitment is. But North American is pretty much based in Stafford, Texas, about 10 minutes outside of Houston, Texas. It's Stafford, Texas, Stafford, Texas, Sugar Land. The challenges right now that I'm facing, it pretty much is just what every other coach is facing, man. We can't get the girls on campus. Most of the girls just want to be able to come to the campus, which is normal. My daughter is 17 and she's graduating this year and she's going to play basketball. So I know the feeling of comfortability and how you want to be able to go to the school, meet the coaches, meet the staff. So I understand that part, but right now the challenge is pretty much just the girls that I have looked at, recruited, and a few of them just want to wait to make their decision until they actually come and visit the campus. So that's the biggest challenge that I'm facing right now.
Yeah, rightfully so. I understand everyone's like pushing these kids to make commitments, but like I agree with you. Like you got to be able to at least get on campus, get a feel for the people around. People make the place. Kind of say that all the time. But like as far as like your team and you're trying to like when did you know you were going to have the job? When did you know y'all were going to add basketball in general? When did y'all move forward, and what was your process in that? Like, did you just want to get all freshmen coming in and build them with the program? Were you trying to get a couple junior college kids and mix a couple older kids in, or?
Well, that's funny because the position, I never knew that it was even, I was going to have an option or opportunity to get that. I was actually helping out the school because I know, a couple of the people that actually work at North American University, and I was actually scouting them because I had been in the circuit for AAU, and they reached out to me and said, "Hey, coach, do you have in mind maybe some girls potentially who maybe want to come to the school or be interested?" So I was actually scouting for them before, just putting in a good word, recommendation, because they had given me, pretty much the literature on the school. I said, this is, a pretty good school. So that's how it started. I actually got the job. I went to go interview when, he did ask, me to try to take on this position. But I actually got the job. I was actually with my daughter. We was doing a photo shoot for her graduation. And he gave me a call and he said, "Hey, man, you mind stopping by?" And I said, "Well, I don't mind stopping by, but I'm, in shorts and t-shirt, with my daughter." So he said, "Cool." So I actually got this opportunity with my daughter in front of me. So that was a pretty much big milestone. It was really a nice part, for her to experience that along with me, that option. Now, as far as like the girls that I'm recruiting right now, I'm kind of just like every coach. I'm picking and choosing. I'm kind of doing just like you mentioned, a mixture, because I got to have some experience along with some nice fresh recruits for the upcoming season. I got to say that I admit I really got some good girls. I think that really can come in and do some good work, potentially for this team to compete very well. So that's kind of what I'm doing as far as just like the experience, some experience and some freshmen. But again, it's just getting them on campus to make that commitment, but kind of where we are now.
What is like your vision, I guess, whenever you're selling to a recruit, potential student athlete, whenever you're selling to a parent, you got an opportunity to come in here, and when you leave here, you could be the all-time leading scorer if you're coming in as a freshman. I mean, we're such a young program. You can leave your legacy. There's no Hall of Fame. There's no nothing. Like, there's no
Right.
You can come in here and set the own tradition as a young student athlete at 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, and what kind of message are you selling to the prospective student athlete along that line?
Well, just as that, you come here, you're going to make history. We're going to be a trailblazer because it's going to be new beginnings for all of us. Myself, you, and whoever comes in, as far as like, my assistant that I'm going to help, we're going to be the first to actually do this. So just in that part, as far as like history being made, your name, you will be in the spotlight. We're going to be looked at this entire year. So the pressure in that regard is something that we all want. Now, how are you going to take advantage of it? You want the lights and cameras on you. You want everybody to see who you are. Well, let's go out and just prove it. So that's what I'm kind of just, I guess, giving them to help them as far as like get ready, their mentality, their mindset. Because once we get in that door, all eyes on you, baby, just like Tupac. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So you mentioned y'all are independent, right?
Yes.
So y'all are moving into the Red River, which is where we're pretty familiar with here in Louisiana. Got a lot of Louisiana schools. Where does y'all schedule look like whenever you're independent? Are you just trying to kind of schedule a lot of those similar teams? Y'all playing like a normal season? How's that transition period going to be?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of picking and choosing because I do want the girls to be able to get that experience as far as like real competition. So, honestly, I came in with a little mindset, okay, let me pick out some schools that I actually want to play. And I've gotten a little lucky with some schools, but it's also, hey, coach, let me send this text message out. We need some games on our schedule. So it's like first come, first serve, as far as like just trying to help us out, get some games. But so far, fortunately, I've picked up some really, really good games. A couple of Division I schools, a couple of 2 or 3 Division III schools. So, the girls will get that competition. And I want them to be hungry. So, and I use that as kind of like a little motivation also, to get them, hey, we got these schools, they're ready. So you got to be ready also.
No doubt, man. I love that when I coached at the Division I level, having NAIs come and play us. It's a lot of people don't realize that gap between low major D1 to NAI is not that far. Like, you got we could probably trade a couple kids. Like, you can take some of mine, I can take some of yours. Like, it's very, very close.
Right.
You want to kind of talk about that a little bit more? The level of basketball in NAI, for whatever reason, I think in Louisiana we kind of give it a little bit of credit, but across the country, people look down on it thinking it's not as good a basketball as D1 whenever you guys, like you said, you're playing D3, D2, D1s every single year.
Yeah, and you know, I've said that along that with parents and girls. I said, well, the difference, the gap, like you said, it's not that much of a difference. The difference is your development, your mentality, and what the coaches, how they're finding your weakness and making you stronger. So it's a little bit of those things, just teaching who you are and what you can do, and putting it all in one as a team. Everybody has a role. Everyone has a role, and it's how you're going to develop that role and trust that role so that you can be a better teammate, and then you'll have success. And we all have goals, but you got to make sure that you're in line with your goals and that you're working towards, you know, completing and being successful in that goal, and then we can take on the next step from there. And that's how it is, man. You know, it's a developmental thing. It's fun. It's wonderful. I'm excited about it if you haven't noticed, man. I mean, I try to use the same concept as teaching, man. You got to have a mindset. What is your mindset? You know, what are we completing that day? You know, finish that, but you got to have a good work ethic. Everything has a work ethic, and you have to be disciplined enough. Yourself, your classmate, your teammate, whoever it is, and definitely myself. We all in here together. You know, I used a little statement that I've kind of been using with my students, even when they do commit, when they have committed, the few that has committed. I said, you know, put in a little quotation, we're going to raise eyebrows. And I need for you to understand that. That's your mindset. Don't come in here saying because this Division One that we're not going to be able to compete. No, that's not the mindset that we want. We're going to get it. And it's going to start in practice.
That's cool. That's cool. You only get one first impression for sure. And I feel like you guys, I can just feel the energy from you. Like you said, I'm about ready to go out and run around the block for a little bit, but you only get that one first impression. And I think that's pretty cool selling point, and that's something I would probably push me over the edge to jump with you guys, man. That's going to be cool. It's going to be fun experience. Of course, you're going to kind of challenges, right? But you're going to always be the first, like you said, the trailblazer, man. The trailblazer.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about recruiting. Wait, you something?
No, I was just going to say it starts at home. You know, the ones who have committed and the ones who have, you know, verbally committed, I've already sent them a workout. It has nothing to do with being outdoors, baby. You know, we got to start inside. You know, I got plyometrics. I got everything is pretty much preventive workouts. You know, even with the lunges, planks, and everything, I've sent them some exercises to do at home. So I want to see who's committed to doing all those things. As I said, as soon as we get a chance, as soon as we have this opportunity, I want to see what you've done. So I'm already setting the bar.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun because their expectation of me is right then and there. Coach is already sending us a workout sheet. Yeah, I am. You got to be committed just as I am. We're in this together.
That's cool. With the recruiting process, what are you looking for in a prospective student athlete? We talked a lot about character recently. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of girls. You may get, I mean, even a New Year program, I'm sure you're getting a blast of emails of kids that want to play.
Yeah.
Going through, right? So you're kind of going through, sifting through. And the basketball part might be even for 5 or 6, 7, 8 girls. How do you determine between those? A lot of people turn towards character. Like what determines that kid?
Now that is a challenge. That is a challenge. Just looking at videos, because most of the videos shows only the good parts of the recruits, right? Everybody can catch and shoot. You know, that's what they're doing. So, you know, a little bit of the ball handling, depending on, you know, whether they're a point guard, shooting guard, or post or something like that. I'm looking at. So I'll look at some of the intangibles. I'm really looking at their feet. Are they boxing out even on the weak side? If the ball is on the strong side, if you're on the weak side, so I'm seeing who's boxing out, who's still playing that role. You know, footwork, defense is priority. Everybody can get on the court when we play defense, baby. So I'm looking at those intangibles. Who's boxing out as far as like a guard? I want to see how they score. You know, are they you know, doing little simple ball fakes? Are they sweeping? You know, are they getting low and then creating the scoring? You know, so that's kind of what I'm looking for, not just somebody catching the ball and just shooting, being delivered the ball. I mean, unless they shoot like Larry Bird or something like that, then I'll really consider something like that from the corner three and, you know, how fluid it is. But, you know, just a little bitty things. I'm trying to look at that. But, of course, if somebody can score consistently, that's always a plus.
Yeah. You're doing these highlights, watching a lot of the highlights. Kids said it's a lot of highlights, even at LGR, you know, and you'd be surprised. Like, there's only one basketball. There's 10 people on the court.
Yeah.
You think you would see more off-ball movement, like I'm coming off a screen,
Yeah.
I'm throwing, I'm back cutting. I guess you just got to educate the kids along the way. Like, majority of the time, you're going to be off the ball, whether it's on defense or on offense. On offense, 80% of the people are off the ball. On defense, 100% of the people are off the ball. But yet, 100% of your highlight video is you with the ball. So it's crazy, to your point.
Yeah, because, okay, Coach, me and you at our age, you know, if a basketball game was like 5 minutes, we can be some stars right now. You know, I want to see who's live at the last 5 minutes of the game. Let me see that energy. Like you say, what you doing off the ball? I need that energy to be consistent, maintain it. What are you doing? You have to be active. You have to be doing something. You know, we all understand, you know, the principles of an offense or something like that. But even if it's not fluent, what are you doing to impact the game? What are you doing to make your team better? You know, you can do that defensively and offensively. You can. You know, who's communicating, who's pointing out, who's doing those things. We say it all the time. Who's talking. That really excites me when I get somebody who doesn't have the ball pointing out and looking and doing all this kind of stuff. That's a team player.
Yeah. And you know, energy bounces off of everybody, like you say. I can see the energy bouncing off of you. You know, I'm getting excited. When we talk about, you know, your program in general, now you're trying. I mean, you got a clean slate. What type of offense, defense you're interested in? Have you started thinking about all that coming in, or you're just going to try to see what kind of kids come in and then build your idea, your philosophy off of that?
Well, I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to a kid and to a parent. Offensively, I really can't determine a whole entire, you know, 1, 2, you know, different types of concepts for offense. Of course, we'll do the universal, you know, motion offense. That's always going to be in place with any team. At least it should be. Other parts of the offense, you know, I got to see what kind of team I'm going to have, you know, because of this level, I might not get that 6'2", 6'4", 6'5" post. So I'm going to have to determine that. But defensively, it's always going to be a man. You're going to have a man zone, you know, depending on how far you're going to push it out because of your guards, how quick they are. But you're going to have the full court press. You're going to have that 100. You're going to have that man. You're going to have the diamond press. I run mine a little bit different. I don't like people. I like to press people when they back to the ball. It makes it easier for the defense, you know, to get there. So defense is always going to be the same. We're going to put pressure on the ball. I mean, that's what we have legs and feet for. That's what I believe. You know, that's the purpose of defense. You're supposed to get the ball. You know, I don't believe in just watching. Go get it, baby. Once it's in the air, it's as good as mine, and I'm not even playing. You know, if it comes in front of me, I might grab it. So go get it.
I love it, man. So you kind of talked about that a little bit too. We're talking with the players and the parents. Big question that we're getting, or at least I think we need to address, is what's the parents' role in this recruiting process? It's kind of double-edged sword. You know, it can help them, it can hurt them, whether people realize it or not. Whenever you're out watching kids and watching games, especially live, you're watching parents, you're watching how they interact with coach, you're actually watching how they're on the bench, how they're walking in, subbing in and out. Like, how does a parent's role?
Well, I've learned a lot coaching through high school and learning through AAU about the parents. And something I picked up a long time ago, Coach, and being a teacher, I always kind of, you know, translate, you know, teaching and coaching and all that kind of principle. I have expectations for them as well. So whenever we get this team together and we have when I have a meeting with the parent, with the kids, I'm gonna have a meeting with the parents as well. We're going to define our roles as parents, and we're going to define our roles as a coach, so that we won't be able to butt heads as much, because nobody's perfect. They're going to find some things about me that they just don't like. I promise you that. That's a guarantee. So just having that expectation of parents, you know, how they're defined. What do I expect of them? What do they expect of me? That's how I kind of discuss that. You know, it's coming together, communicating, and just being able to become. What I'm learning about this level is not too far. Even it's not too different as far as like how AAU approaches parents, because we're still working together. You know, it's not Division I where team is always out. We're going to be close knit. So I do have some things that I, you know, may address with the parents, but I got to find out, you know, certain, you know, regulations, rules, and stuff like that. But just being able to help out, you know, talking to you, communicating with them, maybe make sure that we're supporting them. little things at home on how we say things. Just those things are something that we're definitely going to definitely going to discuss.
So. No doubt, man. I like that, and I do agree with you. It's a lot, and even low major D1 where I was at for 6 years, it's the same. Like you recruit these kids for 3 and 4 years. You know what I'm saying? You build the relationship with the parent. I feel like once they get to your program, it's definitely 100% family, and communication is very, very important. Yeah. To your point. So in general, North American University, what can the college athletic experience, like what do you think players can expect from the college athletic experience?
Growth. Definitely growth. There's something that I do plan to do for my girls. I can share this, and I've already, prepared all this because of the people that I've met just going through school and, education, and just like I said, I was always involved with volunteering, YMCA. I have a few friends, that are resourceful as far as like owning their own companies, businesses. So I most likely I'll have like a mentorship for my girls outside of basketball, because I still want them to be able to get ready for life challenges and, being there. I have a good friend of mine who has her own, she's a doctor, she has her own practice. So they do a lot of self-care, which I actually participate in, but for women, it's a little bit different. Taking care of yourself, your needs, and those type of things, that's what they're going to be part of. I'm going to schedule them to go and take part of that, physical therapy. That comes along with every school, but, just some of those little bitty things, mentorship, what is your major? If I know someone, let me find someone who's going to be able to give you that information that I can't give you, That's what you want to pursue. When we was in school, we had a mentorship program in high school, that allowed us to be able to go and shadow someone. That's something that's very important to me, because again, I do have a few girls that are coming in as transfers from JUCO. So before you know it, they're going to be out on their own. They need to be able to learn, adopt, and be able to practice and see and be active in their field or their career. So that's something else that every girl in my group or my team that would be involved with.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I really like that, kind of taking care of them off the court too, because at the end of the day, this ball's going to stop bouncing. There's not that many of them that are going to go on and play at the next level, collegiate. In the pros and everything else. You're just trying to get a free education and set yourself up for the best you possibly can, So with that, man, is there anything else you want to kind of share with any student athlete for the recruiting process in general? All right, guys. Sorry about that. Coach Joulevette had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're gonna end this one a little bit short. I'm gonna pop up his Twitter handle and stuff like that. Again, if you want to reach out to him, I'll put his Twitter handle, email. I think they have a basketball Twitter handle as well. Again, just kind of recap, pretty cool little story going on there with starting a first-year program. Going to be independent year one, moving into the Red River NAIA. Saw that with LSU Alexander, and you see the success they've had. I think it's 6 years now, and they've been to the NAIA tournament. We're set to go back again. So just a cool little thing, kind of see that progress. Something to keep in mind. You can tell he had great energy. He's really fired up and somebody to follow along with. Again, guys, appreciate y'all for coming out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks.